So I thought, well, if I just date somebody, maybe I'll stay Amish. I knew that I was going to leave, but I didn't know how. I didn't know how it's going to play out. And it didn't matter how much I planned, I couldn't have known what was out there until I actually left. So I gave up a few times. I was like, no, I'm not going to leave. This is too hard. It will be absolutely devastating to my family. I didn't tell them anything what I was going through, because that was terrifying. They wouldn't have accepted it at all if I told them. So I tried to date a person, so that an Amish man, so that I would decide to just stay at home, get married like all my other friends were that were my age, that were getting married, that were dating. So I thought, well, if I just date somebody, maybe I'll stay Amish. It'll help me be the woman that I'm supposed to be in the Amish. That lasted 2 months until I just couldn't take it anymore. So I broke it off with him, and when I broke it off with him, I just knew, okay, this is the first chance I have, I'm out of here. And it was 6 months after that when I finally got the break that I needed to escape without being seen.
And that, so tell me how the escape happened.
Well, my parents left town. They got on their horse and buggy and they left, and I knew it would take them all day because of, it's slow to travel with horse and buggy, and they were going quite a distance. So I was hiding his cell phone. It was a track phone. I didn't use it at all because I didn't want the battery to die in case I'd get to leave. So when that day came, I made a phone call to, I had a phone number that was given to me by people that would come to our farm. They told me that once you're ready to leave, call this number and somebody will help you. They didn't tell me who, they didn't even know who it was. They just knew that they needed to make sure that I was taken care of. So I called that number and the lady answered, and I said, I'm ready to leave the Amish. And she said, okay, where can I pick you up? And I told her where and what time. So after that phone call, I wrote a little note for my parents and put it on the living room table. And I took off my cap. So the Amish women wear a cap and then a bonnet on top. So I took off the cap and put on a scarf, but I had my dress that I was wearing and like $50 in my pocket. And I snuck out the door, and where I tried to make sure that none of my siblings see me go. I ran through a field, jumped through a fence, and got out on a road where I was clearly out of sight from anyone. And I walked 4 miles from there. This was January 10th. So in the US, it's cold. January is pretty cold. This was in Missouri, so Missouri is pretty cold in January, but there was no snow at the time, so it was just cold. And I walked 4 miles, and when I got there, it was a tiny bank in a small town. I stood outside the bank and waited for the lady to come pick me up.
And where did she take you?
She took me to her house about 2 hours away. And one other thing that I would like to say is, while I was walking, one of my brothers saw the note on the table and he realized what's happening. So he jumped on his horse and he came riding up after me, begging me to come back home. Like the look on his face was like, you can't do this. This is terrible. Like he looked legitly like he saw a ghost. He was so scared to see me walking away. And it broke my heart. I mean, I wanted to reassure him that I'm going to be fine. But I didn't know. I didn't know what I was. I just knew that I'm leaving. I didn't know what I was getting into.